president of the, in French, Fédération étudiante collégiale du Québec, but it means Students Federation College, Federation of Students College.
Excellent, thank you. I took extensive notes, so I'm just going to cover a quick couple of things that you didn't cover. How much support or how much coordination did you do with the local Occupy movements?
The Occupy movement was there at the beginning of our camping, so in the autumns of 2010. So of course it helps because people start to heard about some political things and problem with poverty and everything. But the cooperation was not so big because it was the beginning of our movement at this moment. They were there during the autumns and stopped around the first protest we've made. So.
All right. But you said that you went into the parks during the summer to keep the ball going. And then you were camping there?
Yes, every weekend. Camping there. So it was kind of like Occupy. 1 year before.
But a year before. But, were you getting evicted? Were they coming by and saying you got to get out, you're trespassing and all that kind of stuff?
In fact, it was not a year before, it was the summer before Occupy. And when I said that it was the beginning of the movement, it was the beginning of the movement after we knew the amount of the tuition fees hike that Occupy was there. And we had the permission by the police to camp in front of the Ministry of Education, so we didn't have any problem with that.
Oh, excellent. Okay, because we went through a nightmare with that.
I know, and even with Occupy in Montreal, at the beginning it was okay, and they start to have really a lot of problem with the municipality.
Locally, we heard that this just sprung up out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, it was just like, boom, you guys are on strike.
Yes.
But there's thousands of you, and you're telling us it took a year ahead of time, and you were even preparing before you knew what's coming.
And I regret, I forget it to precise it during this presentation. I told that we were working 2 years before the strike, but often I say that, and it's a French expression, I don't think the translate is good in English, but the movement didn't fall from the sky. We worked during all this time, and also we have all this background of protest movement. So, of course, it's not happening just like this. By example, before we knew the amount of the tuition, we create this coalition, as I said, with the workers' union, start our research, show our argue in the media and everything. We place our issue at the moment at December 6th, 2010. So the job really started before, but you're right, it looked like it had been covered here only until after a certain time, the beginning of the strike. So people are thinking like, oh, students just wake up one day and said to themselves, well, today I'll be on strike. Which is not the fact. It took much more job than that.
That's and then what we saw from major media was these whining, complaining students. In fact, when you said the French statement was that they were asking for too much, here it was they're just ridiculous. And what was your backlash like? Were you guys watching the news, what they were saying, or?
It depends of the news. We had, of course, the media, how the media covered everything was not perfect. But I think that the job from the government was really well done. The job to say that a tuition fee hike is not so bad, that students are like little children. And it works. Of course, there is some media that really use this message and repeat it more than our message, but it's not all of them. And because we've been one of the biggest news during more than 2 months, there is a lot of people who heard about us. There is some who were just sick to heard about what we were doing, but there were some people who start to get some information, go on website, read some research and everything. So It's always like this with the big media. There is some good impact and some bad impact.
We also got a lot of backlash from the general public, and you guys were getting a lot of heat at the end, okay? But then you suspended things while the election was going on? Like, this is going on, you're full tilt, you're in a general strike, and then you paused while the election occurred?
Well, we didn't completely do a pause. We continue to put our issue in the media because we did some demand to the different government. We did like 3 conferences, press conferences that have been well covered. So we continue to be there and showing that students are being involved now, but in a different way. They are doing some information, mobilization, saying to people that they have to go vote. And also there was a protest, a 22 protest during the month of August, and there was some people there, and we were there also saying that students are here now, and they are going to be here in the pool on 4th of September, and they'll remember what the government did during the spring.
Yeah.
So it was not a complete pause, but as I said, there are some students who've decided to return to class because it's really important to understand that you're not doing strike for fun. And when you have another possibility than strike, well, of course you take it.
Right.
And election was another way to achieve our goal. And it was simply to not vote for a party that was proposing a tuition hike fees.
In the end, you said your best strategy was just getting out and talking to people. Okay. But we've seen a big difference between the two cultures, West Coast and East Coast. East seems to be more passionate, more involved.
Well, as I said, we have a big history of contests and protests in the province, not only from the students. And I think it just comes from our history. Of course, maybe it's a bit more easy for us, but students are the same everywhere. They are students, they are young, they are not necessarily really interested in politics at the beginning. So it's not impossible. It's not because you are in the West Coast that you can be involved. And when you think about it, it's only found the motivation to go out of your place and inform people around about something. Of course, you have to find something to talk about. If you are for big tuition fees, well, you're not going to talk against this big tuition fees. But it's simply, I think, it's the little first step, I think, is being aware of what's going on in the system of education.
Okay. Any advice you'd give to anyone who's just starting out?
Sometimes it's difficult, and at the beginning, it's never going to be like the March of 22, but find a passion, a reason why you're doing that, why you want to be involved in your community. And there is many reasons to be involved in your community, and continue. Find something that you are passionate by.
Yeah.
So, and even when it's difficult, don't lose hope. Continue, because it's like that I think we are building a better society.
Excellent. That's your point. Okay, thanks from Radio Free Canada. Very cool.
Bye.